What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of DIY Car Projects. I haven't had an episode in a long time, really for two reasons. One, it took me a long time to sell my Fiero and my Neon, and I also had a child. So both of those things kind of set me back a little bit in terms of making YouTube videos, but I have a new car. I know, I'm excited too. It's going to be awesome to work on this thing. It's different. I've never owned one of these before, and it really suits my new dad lifestyle. The MR2 is still mine. It's still my baby. I love it, but I couldn't put a car seat in it, so I bought something that I can definitely put a car seat in. Check it out. Alright, so this is my 2001 Audi A4 Avant Quattro. It is the 1.8T turbo version. So why did I buy this car? Well, one, it's a station wagon, which is sweet. I watch a lot of Mighty Car Mods, and Marty is all about station wagons. I've never been into them, but now that I'm having a kid and trying to get used to this whole dad life thing, I figured I'd try it out. So I did buy this one because it was turbocharged, so I get awesome choo-choo noises and huge engine modification ability without a lot of money. It is all-wheel drive, which is just cool, and it's a station wagon, which means I have plenty of room for kids and a stroller and a mountain bike and everything else that I like to carry around with me. So I think I've got a good balance here of practicality and fun, and it should be a really fun car to modify and make awesome. So I do have a list of things that I need to do. The car does run pretty well. It has a hole in the seat, and it has a hole around the CD player, and it has a hole in the bumper, and it's got some faded paint, and it's got some chipped paint, a couple of dents, and you know, it's sort of in rough shape, I guess, but I bought it for $1,600, so you know, it's all right, it's good. It made the trip from Maryland back home. It was like an 800-mile trip, and it did fine, but it does need some maintenance. So before any sort of modification, it's always a good idea to make sure your car is maintained, because especially if it's a new car to you, I don't know what these cars feel like when they drive well. So I'm gonna try to make this one drive well, and then I'll start modifying. So the first things I've got to do are the oil pan gasket. It's leaking a little bit, and evidently these things are it's like a bear of a job, really tough. And so I'm gonna try it and see what I can learn about this engine, what I can learn about this car. It also needs a new pickup tube, because when I turned onto my driveway, the oil light came on and it hasn't gone off, and that's a big deal with this car. I guess it's a big deal with every car, it's an oil pressure light, but it ends up most of the time being a pickup tube. So I'm just gonna yank the oil pan off and look at that, maybe replace that tube if that's clogged. I also got to check for sludge, because the 1.8Ts sludge up really bad, especially if they're not maintained with the right oil and stuff. And so I'm going to check this engine and make sure that it doesn't have any sludge. Hopefully we will be in the clear on that. I'm also going to do air filter and spark plugs and oil and all that stuff, just to make sure that everything's changed and everything's good. I'm going to do a valve cover gasket just because I figured it'd be good to learn, and it'll be easy for me to check for sludge when I do that. I'm also going to do an intake manifold gasket, throttle body gasket. I'm going to clean those two things out really well and make sure those are clear. I'm going to fix a leak. I've got a boost leak that I need to fix, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to replace the engine mounts while I've got everything apart, put new ones in there. I used to drive a BMW, an E90, that had hydraulic engine mounts. This has hydraulic engine mounts, at least that's what they look like to me. And when those things go bad, it destroys, your ride just is terrible. So I'm going to replace those. I'm also going to replace the snub mount on the front of the car. It's a little rubber, I don't know, ball looking thing that slides onto a mount on the front of the car. It mounts to the oil pan. I figure while I'm at it, might as well change that. I'm going to do some transmission work. Not really anything major. That's really not work at all. I'm just going to replace the gasket on it. It's leaking. I'm going to replace the filter and the fluid and all that cool stuff. I've also got to do air conditioning, because I live in the South and it is just ridiculously stupid hot. I mean, it is so hot here all the time. and so I need AC. The AC is broken, and so I've got to replace some parts on that. I've never done AC before, so we'll try it. I watched some videos from like Chris Fix, I think, or somebody, and one of those guys, YouTube mechanics, and it looks pretty straightforward. So I'm gonna try doing it and see if I can't make my Audi blow some cold air. Speaking of cold air, once I get all of the stuff taken care of in the maintenance department, I'm gonna put some wheels on it. I'm gonna put a cold air, I guess cold air intake. Like I don't know if it'd be called a cold air. Maybe a short brand intake. Maybe cone filter intake. I don't know. I'm gonna build an intake for it with a heat shield and all that cool stuff. So I'll be looking for that. I'm also going to do a diverter valve upgrade so that I can run more boost, because more boost is best, and hopefully not blow the motor up. I'm gonna install a boost gauge. I think I'm gonna do it like in the air vent and make it myself, rather than buying a new air vent that's already made for a boost gauge. So that should be fun. I may be able to do it. I may totally mess it up. I'm also gonna do exhaust, really just putting in a test pipe, and then I'm gonna have an exhaust shot, remove like the big suitcase muffler in the middle of these cars, hopefully get a little bit more flow out of that. And yeah, I think that's gonna be it in terms of modification on that respect. I did get some wheels for it. They're 18s, and I'm using adapters for them. I don't know if that's like a really bad thing in the Audi community. I don't know. I'm doing it, so we'll see how that goes. And I'm gonna be fixing those up, kind of restoring them over the course of time. But it's become a lot bigger of a project than I ever expected. So I'm gonna post videos on those as well, so you guys can see that. And then eventually, after I get all this stuff done, I'm going to rebuild the suspension. So I'll put probably coilovers. I don't know, either coilovers or lowering springs and shocks, but I can pretty much get coilovers for the same price as lowering springs and shocks. So probably just gonna do coilovers and then rebuild the suspension, new control arms and all that stuff, so that it stops squeaking, because it squeaks like crazy when you turn the wheels. So overall, the car's in pretty good shape, I guess. I don't know. It will be when I get done. So maybe this will help you with your Audi. I don't know. I'm learning. I've never worked on one of these cars. I'm excited and a little bit hesitant to get into this whole like German spec Euro like stuff. I had an E90 BMW that I hated. Just because it was so hard to work on. Like simple jobs took forever. Crankcase breather hose, if you want an example, just look that up. It's miserable. It's a miserable job to do. But anyway, I did go back to the Euro cars. I hear these are not as bad. So I don't know. We'll see. But you can see with me. You can see me either totally make this car run great or ruin it. And I'll post it all on YouTube. No shame in this game. But keep up with it. Keep up with us. Subscribe. Make sure you hit the like buttons on all of these videos. And you can actually follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/DIY car projects.